This blessing has an interesting history to it because in some ways it's not at all new to me. It's the blessing I've been feeling from Jeshua ever since his first appearance. But in other ways, it's very new to me because it's the first time he has come to me deliberately showing me how to receive his energy and give it to another. And this has been one of my long-term prayers because so many people have asked for this. When I would go to do live seminars or I would be talking with people on a telephone conference or whatever. And I know that many times his energy was transmitted through me. But it wasn't because I was consciously aware of it or consciously participating in it. It was because the recipient was connecting with Jeshua, and I was a convenient conduit. Or perhaps my presence stimulated their connection, and so I had the great opportunity of sharing that transmission between the two of them. In all of these ways, it's been a great blessing for me. But still, I really wanted to have a more special presence to facilitate this for others, not because of any ability I desired to acquire, but just the privilege of experiencing it and the honor and the humility of being a conduit for him to others. And I had no idea that this prayer of mine was about to be answered. But I would say about 2 months ago, and I think it's also partly because of his preparation of me for a healing journey that I personally am having to go on and will be experiencing in whatever ways will be necessary in the next couple of months. Some of you know that a number of years ago I had an injury to my hip, and it's been degenerating through the years. Why I've had to call upon the new technical facilities of online seminars because I really could not travel anymore. And that has been beginning to even infringe upon my consciousness and ability to deliver the quality and the excitement of his messages as before, although most people tell me that the quality is just getting better, so it's probably just me, and I am probably finding strength in my humility to surrender to this total process. But at any rate, about 2 months ago, I was in my morning meditation, and I noticed his presence more than just spiritual. It was a very tangible presence, like I felt many times when we were writing books together or when he was in a very visual way with me for the painting of the painting. And I felt his hands on my feet. And from that, energy traveled up my body and through all the different energy centers of my body, and it expanded out into my emotional and spiritual body. And I felt a very special healing occurring. And to this day, I don't know exactly what was healing. Probably I was being healed from different levels of attachment to outcome or different levels of ego attachment to the way my life had to be or result or show up as. You know, we can have all kinds of attachments that cause us to be more fixated in the way we think or do or receive the blessings of life. At any rate, the blessings at first were very intangible but rich. And I noticed that they were having a profound effect on the work I was creating for your course, the Jeshua on healing and health and wellness. And so I just was in gratitude for this and allowing it to happen. And then every morning he would come, and he would be at my feet, and I would notice this energy. Then I began to learn from it. Well, you know me by now, that I experience first, and then I direct those experiences toward answering the questions of how can I learn from this? How can I give this as an understanding to other people? He didn't give me a great deal of cognitive information. Actually, he didn't speak at all. I just knew it was him, and actually, to the degree that I could have a direct visual contact with him, it's almost as if he commanded silence. I could see him looking at me and engaging with me in a powerful silence that didn't allow for words, that did not allow for cognitive thinking or transmission of information. So you have to understand the conclusions I've drawn are conclusions from my experience. And this experience is a very rich one that's nonverbal, which is why it took me so long to get it to you, because I'm primarily, as a teacher, resolved to be verbal about how I convey my understanding. But as you will receive this blessing today, it will not all be verbal. As a matter of fact, it mostly will not be verbal. I'm just giving you a tee-up to my experience on this. As he and I grew in this experience, I knew that he was giving me a direct experience of what I was trying verbally to communicate with you on this course. And it has a great deal of power to it, and I have no idea where it's leading, but I do know that it's leading somewhere because I've never had a more powerful experience with him than this. And I know that it will be reaching many, many people as he moves this blessing into whatever fulfillment he has in mind for it. It's energetic, and the best that I can tell you or describe for you is like this. When we pray with our hearts, hopefully, or even better still, we pray with our whole being in the presence of the moment of being who we are. In other words, praying as the full completion and attainment of that which we're praying for. Instead of praying to have something that's projected into the future, it is in our whole being as the prayer. That would be the ideal prayer. And it would be prayed as a feeling and as faith in the whole complete attainment of it, much more than words, and conveyed as energy that is traveling between ourselves and the Creator in microseconds of fulfillment, or no seconds or no space at all. The Creator being in us, actualized and fulfilled in us. But of course, as we know, as human beings, we're very centered in the life that we're living, in the story that we're living, in the condition we're experiencing. And it's very challenging sometimes for us to leave the condition we're praying to resolve, because it's that very condition that fills our consciousness and fills our feeling. And the unfortunate irony is that as we pray from that condition, our prayer is saturated in the energy of that condition. And sometimes that could be like a ball we throw in the air that travels about 20 feet out and falls to the ground. How much better it would be if instead of traveling 20 feet out, it traveled upward, upward, and upward, and never stopped traveling to God. Well, I think that's what Jeshua was really offering his life and energy for us, is that his energy is so seated in the heart of God that when we pray in his energy, our prayer takes us seamlessly without time and space into the heart of God.